Hey everybody, Charles from GMAT Ninja here with your GMAT Club Verbal Question of the Day. If you've never seen this question before, please hit the pause button, give it a shot on your own first. For the rest of you, let's keep going. So this is a paradox question. So it's asking which of the following, if true, most helps to explain why deaths and injuries have not increased significantly. So whenever you have a paradox question, it's always going to kind of come in the same format. It's always going to be one statement and then a second statement that are seemingly contradictory. So let's break that down in this passage. So the passage is saying two things. First, there are now far more automobiles on Sabresia's roads than there were 30 years ago, and the annual number of automobile accidents has increased significantly. Fair enough. But then here's the second statement that seems discrepant. The annual number of deaths and injuries resulting from those automobile accidents has not increased significantly. So the issue basically is we've got a lot more cars on the road, we've got a lot more automobile accidents, but for some reason, the number of deaths and injuries has not increased anywhere near as quickly as the number of accidents and the number of cars. So we're looking for something that's going to help us explain that. The rest of that information is just a little bit of background about why the number of cars has increased. So I'm going to go ahead and take that passage. I can do this because I have the benefit of having some technology here. So statement 1, statement 2 highlighted there in the original passage. All right, let's go ahead and tackle those answer choices. Answer choice A, virtually all of the improvements in Sabresia's roads that were required to accommodate increased traffic were completed more than 10 years ago. Well, great. What is this telling us? It's telling us that the roads are better than they were 30 years ago, certainly, that the roads can accommodate increased traffic. Now, this has absolutely nothing to do with the number of injuries. You might be able to stretch this a little bit with some imagination and say, well, okay, the roads have gotten better, so maybe they're safer, but then why is it that we still have more accidents? It's just that the fatalities aren't happening, and this does nothing to help us explain why, even though there are more accidents, there aren't as many fatalities and injuries. So for that reason, we can get rid of A. Answer choice B, with more and more people owning cars, the average number of passengers in a car on the road has dropped dramatically. Now, this really helps us because we have this increase in the number of accidents, but we don't have an increase in the number of deaths and injuries. Why might that be? Well, if there aren't as many people in the cars, then it stands to reason that we won't necessarily have anywhere near as many deaths or injuries from those accidents if there just aren't that many bodies in the car to get dead or injured. So let's hang on to B. C, the increases in traffic volume have been most dramatic on Sabresia's highways, where speeds are well above those of other roads. If anything, if you wanted to assume that at these higher speeds, the accidents are more likely to be deadly or more likely to cause injuries, that might be a little bit of a stretch. But if you wanted to assume that, fair enough. But that's actually going to pull us in the other direction. That would indicate that we'd be more likely to have more injuries, more deaths. So it actually doesn't do anything to resolve that discrepancy at all. It actually hurts us. So we can get rid of C. D, because of a vigorous market in used cars, the average age of cars on the road has actually increased. Well, you can try to make something up here about the safety of used cars versus new cars, but we really don't know whether there's something about the age of the car that's going to relate to the likelihood of death or injury, given that you've had an accident. So this does absolutely nothing to connect this idea of more accidents, but somehow not as many deaths and injuries per accident. So D doesn't do anything for us. We can get rid of that one. And E, automobile ownership is still much less common in Sabresia than it is in other countries. This one's fairly easy to eliminate. Absolutely nothing here that's relevant about comparing Sabresia to other countries. So we can get rid of E. We're left with B. Again, much more detailed explanations in written form online. Go ahead and Google this question, find it on GMAT Club, find that thread, give you much more detailed explanation if you'd like it. And thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time.